How did a medical discharge turn into a promotion ceremony? I was 3 weeks away from my medical board when everything changed. I'd been a specialist for 2 years stationed at Fort Carson with the 4th Infantry Division. During a training exercise in February, an IED simulator malfunctioned and sent shrapnel through my left leg. Doctors said I'd never meet physical fitness standards again. The injury wasn't even combat related, just bad luck during a routine training mission. I was looking at a medical discharge, loss of my security clearance, and starting over as a disabled veteran at 24 years old. My leg required 3 surgeries and 6 months of physical therapy. During recovery, I was assigned to light duty in the battalion headquarters, basically filing paperwork and answering phones while my discharge paperwork crawled through the system. That's where I met Private Jake Miller. Kid was 18, fresh out of basic training, assigned as the commander's assistant. Bright guy, but completely overwhelmed by military bureaucracy. He kept making mistakes on important documents. I started helping him during my downtime, showed him proper formatting, taught him military writing standards, explained the chain of command. Jake was a fast learner and genuinely grateful for the guidance. In May, Jake came to me panicking. He'd accidentally deleted 3 weeks of battalion training schedules from the computer system. No backup files. Major Anderson was going to destroy him when he found out. I spent my entire weekend recreating those schedules from scratch. Called other units, tracked down training coordinators, rebuilt everything from memory and scattered notes. Jake never got in trouble because the major never knew what happened. This became our routine. Jake would mess up, I'd help fix it. He was learning, getting better, but still needed guidance. I didn't mind. Gave me something useful to do while waiting for my discharge. June brought my final medical board. 3 doctors, 2 officers, and a stack of paperwork declaring me unfit for continued service. They scheduled my discharge ceremony for July 15th. The night before my ceremony, Captain Williams called me into his office. I figured it was standard exit interview stuff. Instead, he had Jake with him, plus First Sergeant Davis and Major Anderson. Jake stood up when I entered, started talking faster than I'd ever heard him speak. Sir, Specialist Ryan taught me everything I know about military procedures. He saved my career at least 5 times. When I screwed up those training schedules, he fixed them without taking any credit. The captain looked confused. What training schedules? Jake went pale. He realized he'd just confessed to a mistake nobody knew about. But Major Anderson was smiling. Those were the most accurate training schedules we've had in 2 years, he said. I wondered how a new private produced such detailed work. Now it makes sense. First Sergeant Davis pulled out a folder. Ryan, we've been watching your mentorship with Private Miller. You've turned a struggling soldier into one of our best administrative specialists. That kind of leadership doesn't happen by accident. Captain Williams leaned forward. Your medical board results came back yesterday. You're permanently limited duty, no field exercises or combat deployments. Normally that means discharge, but we have a different proposal. He slid papers across his desk. We're creating a new position, administrative training coordinator. You'd be responsible for mentoring new soldiers, developing training materials, and supervising office procedures. Desk job, but essential for unit readiness. The rank that comes with this position is sergeant. If you're willing to stay, your promotion ceremony is tomorrow instead of your discharge ceremony. I stared at those papers. 6 months ago, I was facing the end of my military career. Now they were offering me stripes and a permanent position doing something I'd accidentally discovered I was good at. Jake was practically bouncing with excitement. Ryan, you have to stay. You're the best teacher I've ever had. Other new soldiers need what you taught me. Major Anderson added the final piece. This position comes with supervisory responsibility for all new administrative personnel. You'd be training the next generation of soldiers like Private Miller here. I looked around that room. These people weren't just offering me a job, they were giving me a purpose that my injury couldn't take away. The next morning, instead of receiving discharge papers, I stood at attention while Captain Williams pinned sergeant stripes on my uniform. Jake was in the front row, grinning like an idiot. My parents drove down from Denver for what they thought was my goodbye ceremony. Instead, they watched their son get promoted to non-commissioned officer. After the ceremony, Jake shook my hand. Thank you for not giving up on me, Sergeant. I laughed. Thank you for giving me a reason to stay, Private Miller. 3 years later, I'm still at Fort Carson, staff sergeant now, running the administrative training program for the entire brigade. Jake made specialist last month and helps me train the new soldiers. Yesterday, I received orders for the non-commissioned officer education system. They're sending me to school to become an instructor at the Army's Leadership Academy. Turns out my medical discharge paperwork is still sitting in some bureaucrat's desk drawer, forgotten and irrelevant.